School violence comes to every district in every state at some point. We know that here at home. Sammy has been talking to one district that has dealt with so much lately in our community. Hi, Sammy.
Hi, Jana. So here in Minnesota, our schools have had to unfortunately deal with their own violent incidents. St. Paul Public Schools has been opening up the conversation for weeks now about school safety after a student was killed in a stabbing at Harding High School. We talked to one of their district's counselors about continuing the conversation when children learn about another act of violence inside of the classroom. Where was your mind at with how are we going to cope with this event?
It caught my attention because of the seriousness of the incident, but unfortunately there's school shootings that happen every week.
Julie Montgomery Reese is the lead middle school counselor and a mom at St. Paul Public Schools. She says students have become almost numb to school shootings.
I think, unfortunately, we're pretty normed and desensitized to it.
But when incidents like this happen, it can bring up past traumas.
Unfortunately, the St. Paul Public School District, they have seen a number of violent incidents just this past year. If you go to a school where there has been a violent incident that has occurred, how are those students affected differently?
This incident in Nashville, like a violent incident, may bring up feelings for them that surface old trauma, and they need to process that with their support people.
Last month, a 15-year-old was stabbed and killed at Harding High. Montgomery Reese said what happened in Nashville is very different than what happened at Harding, but there's support in place if this reignites past trauma.
How has St. Paul Public Schools been helping students with the feeling of not feeling safe at school?
I think ultimately all we can do is address a feeling of safety. We can never say with certainty you will be safe. And so I think we do that primarily through positive rituals and routines.
As a mom, how do you feel about that statement that is just this truth of there's never 100% certainty of safety?
I have some anxiety. I'm a parent too, and so just talking with my 6th grade student, I just asked if he knew about it, the shooting, and he said, yeah, it's all over the news.
She says it's important to open up the conversation with your children who may be old enough to know that a shooting happened, but you should limit media exposure or sharing too many details.
I would just suggest starting with something like, what do you know about what happened, and allow your child to share.
If you're worried that your student may be traumatized by yesterday's event, school counselors say you should reach out to them. The district will have another community meeting about school safety this Thursday. Jana.
It just keeps happening. Thanks so much, Sammy, for that report.